guys, Dolly here. Welcome back to Gipsyrosepaperie. Today we are going to work on a junk journal with me here in my personal journal. It is super chunky. It barely closes, but I did promise myself that I would journal in here until my next birthday. I started this on November 24th of last year, and I will journal in it through November 24th this year. So here I'm just looking for my page. I am trying to use up the supplies I said I had too much of in here. But I'm looking for something that I can use that has several pages because it's going to be a big spread, and this looks like the right page for that. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue down that textile so it's not all over the place, and just make sure it's secured down. I got the seed catalog in the mail, and the artwork is absolutely gorgeous, and I knew the moment I saw it that I would use it in here. So I'm just going to go ahead and just rip that page right off, and then kind of start thinking where I want this. I really wanted to keep it intact, but it's so big and I didn't want to like fold it over like you see I'm doing there. So I actually am gonna end up just cutting this bad boy up and just, you know, going with the flow and committing to the idea. So I decided to cut this into several pieces, so the little flower borders are going to come off, but I really want that main picture with the gnomes and the unitoad, which cracks me up, to be the focal point. So that's definitely going to be cut up on its own, and then I'm going to cut off the other pieces just as standalone pieces. So here I'm just measuring that main picture against the half page. I think it would look really good there, and actually as I'm cutting it down, I think I'm gonna make it into a pocket. That way not only does it look cute, but it's also functional and serves a purpose. So I'm just measuring back in there to make sure that it fits within the borders of the paper. And so now I'm gonna make some decisions about the other part of the cover. I think that this little saying on here would look really cute on that other page. So I'm just measuring against the page, making sure that it fits within the borders, and then just cutting down as necessary. So here I am taking the final part of the cover, just that top part, and cleaning up the edges a little bit and sort of cutting it down a little bit narrower and shorter so I can fit it on that half page. You'll see that I struggle back and forth between whether or not I'm going to put it on that half page back there, but I just end up doing that instead. I don't know why I sometimes second guess myself about where I want things, but clearly I knew it would go on the half page. I just kept going back and forth, and I decided to staple it because I really like the look of stapling things into your journal. I just think it looks really organic and adds charm to your spread. So this spread is really about my garden for next year, and so here I have a little list that I made of all the seeds that I would like to get for my garden next year. It's a little ambitious. There are some vegetables this year. Last year, or rather this year, I only planted herbs and some flowers, but next year I want to up my game. So the list is basically a wish list. Will I get everything on this list? I don't know yet, but I wanted to include that on there, and I glued that down, and then the little flower borders on the catalog were perfect to kind of border that, so that's what I'm doing here. So this catalog is really cool, and it's got like groups of seeds that you can get, and one of them I remembered that I wanted and I hadn't written down was the pollinator collection, and then the perennial insectary. So it promotes pollinators like butterflies and bumblebees and bees and hummingbirds, and also the insectary promotes beneficial insects. So I decided that I would put it here because it fits perfect. It's a little long, but you'll see me fix that. And I'm just gonna glue the top so that I could still lift it up and journal underneath as next year comes and goes. Maybe I wanted to add some notes in there before the new year is up. And then I just folded that kind of accordion style so that could still fit within the page borders. So I'm using some scrap paper to create a tag for that pocket because I want somewhere where I can write my thoughts for my garden for 2020. And I wanted to write a little story just so that I could remember. I was at the post office and there was a bumblebee that was stunned by the heat. I guess it hit the pavement and it just couldn't fly away. It was trying so hard, so I just picked it up, and there was a crepe myrtle tree and I placed it on the blossoms, and it drank its fill and then was able to fly away. And I read afterwards about bumblebees and how they're going extinct, and I was like, oh well, I would like to create a safe haven in my garden for, you know, pollinators like that. So that's part of the inspiration for the garden, and I wanted to commemorate that by writing about it. And here I broke out the eyelash trim. Y'all know I've got so much of it. I made a video about it. So I thought, what better way than to use some of my stash up than to use it in my own personal journal, even though it's fit to burst, but you know, you gotta use what you have, right? So I decided that the journal spread wasn't quite done. The catalog had some beautiful hand-drawn images, and there were 2 seed packets that I wanted to add. So one is the catnip, obviously because I have cats, and the other one is for something called borage, which is a type of flower, and they specifically attract bumblebees. So I definitely wanted that, and I just am going to hand letter that so I don't forget. That's why I put that on there. So here is the finished journal spread. We've got a nice deep pocket where I put a tag for my journaling, and I've got all my wish list plants for next year's garden. I'm really pleased with how this came out. The last thing I want to do here is put a label with the date on it. So this is gonna be the final journal spread. I'm so happy with how this came out. It's really cute. My journal is getting super duper fat and can barely close, but I hope you guys enjoyed this junk journal with me. Thank you so much for stopping by. I love you so much, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.